In under a decade, social safety nets have emerged in many sub-Saharan African countries as a part of strategies to address poverty and protect households from shocks including drought, disasters, and conflict. The number of social safety net programs launched each year has increased from 8 programs on average per year between 2004 and 2009 to 14 programs on average per year between 2010 and 2015. The increasing adoption of social safety nets is reflected in the growing number of national strategies or policies for social protection. Today, every country in sub-Saharan Africa has at least one social safety net program. Cash transfers, public works, and school feeding programs are common. In some countries, like Ethiopia, Senegal, and Tanzania, programs are assisting millions of poor and vulnerable people. Still, most poor and vulnerable people are not yet covered by social safety nets. Only 4 countries have program coverage that exceeds the number of poor. The evidence shows that households use the support from these programs productively to increase food security, send children to school, and expand income activities. These programs protect households in times of crisis, helping to avoid selling critical assets or taking children out of school. There is untapped potential for social safety nets to effectively address equity, raise resilience, and expand opportunities for poor and vulnerable people by giving programs a solid foundation. Programs can succeed when there is commitment to strong technical know-how to ensure effective program design and implementation structures, like identifying the poor and administering programs transparently. But it also takes more than technical considerations. There are 3 key areas that need deliberate attention to build a solid foundation for social safety nets to grow. First, it's critical to understand the role of politics in shaping safety nets. The political appetite for programs can be shaped by evidence on the effectiveness of programs. Design features can influence support for programs, and there may be a trade-off between the first best design for addressing poverty and the second best design that rally political support while maintaining the integrity of the program. Second, programs need to be anchored around effective institutions with strong capacity and aligned incentives. There is no single path in terms of institutional structure. Third, expanding social safety nets in Africa to reach more poor and vulnerable people will require innovative strategies to ensure financial sustainability. This includes a focus on ways to increase efficiency, increase funding from traditional sources, and secure new sources of financing with an emphasis on disaster risk management to be prepared to aid communities and increase resilience.
Hello everyone and welcome to this discussion on the critical role of social safety nets in alleviating and promoting economic resilience in Africa. So today we will explore the current state of poverty in Africa, successful case studies and challenges and opportunities, and to finish we will give future direction for enhancing these vital programs. The current state of poverty in Africa. And what is the current state of poverty in Africa? Africa faces an alarming levels of extreme poverty with over 464 million people living in extreme poverty as of 2024. And this situation can be explained by the fact that many African countries, they are struggling with this slow income growth, the inflation, and the rising unemployment rates. The second point is that many African nations are struggling with economic challenges, including the high debt distress risk, which affects their ability to invest in social programs. Inflation has also surged to making it harder for families to overcome the basic necessities. So understanding this context is crucial as we explore how social safety net can serve as a lifeline for vulnerable population. And our second point of today is the importance of social safety nets. Why are they important in the society? What is the social safety net? First, we need to understand what is the social safety net. So the first point, sub-point that we are going to look at is the definition of social safety net. So as per definition, social safety net, they are the programs, designed to provide financial assistance to those who are struggling, those people who are in need, ensuring they can meet their basic needs. Impact on women and marginalized groups. So what is the impact of these programs? These programs specifically target women and marginalized communities, empowering them financially and improving their quality of life. For instance, in Angola, about 60% of cash transfer recipients are female-headed households. And the target instance provided by these programs is instrumental in fostering and economic resilience in communities. And now let's look at some case studies that will help us understand the importance of these programs. And the first case study that we are going to look at is the DRC. The state program in DRC has made significant impact by providing cash transfer and cash for work opportunities with over 500,000 people that have been benefiting from this program. Most of the time includes women. And the second case study that we are going to talk about is the Somalia's Bax Nano program. In Somalia, and this program called Bax Nano program has provided universal cash transfer with over 200,000 households, primarily benefiting to women. This program has improved financial inclusion and resilience against the climate-related shocks. And now let's analyze the success of these programs. Are they really successful in what they are doing? Because most of the time these programs are implemented to support marginalized communities. They are there to support vulnerable communities, and most of the time they are there to support women, because most of the time it's women who are suffering. And these case studies, the one that we just talk about, they illustrate that the way implemented social safety net can alleviate poverty and promote socio-economic resilience in Africa, because most of the time the people that are suffering in Africa are women, and women, they need help. That's why these programs are there to implement, to help vulnerable communities and empower them by transfer of money, cash, and cash opportunities works. Our fourth point is challenges and opportunities. What are the challenges and what are the opportunities when we are looking at these programs, and what are they really facing as challenges? So challenges in implementation. Despite their potential, social safety nets face several challenges. Fundings remain significant, as many governments, they are struggling to allocate resources amid economic constraints. Political will. Why is political will important in the implementation of these programs? Political will is important because it is essential for the successful implementation of these programs, because without strong commitment and front leadership, these initiatives, they can face significant challenges. That's why we are saying political will is also important, because it requires that the leaders, the government, they show their interest, they show their will, like they are willing to provide support, they are willing to provide cash and money for these marginalized communities, for women that are suffering across Africa. That's why we are saying political will is also essential too, because it helps in the implementation of these programs. And another issue or challenge that we can talk about in this video is the increase, because without inadequate infrastructure, it can be a big challenge to hamper the effective delivery of social safety, because when they are delivering this social safety net, when they are delivering these aids, when they are delivering these needs, that what people need, it's really important to have the adequate infrastructure. That's why we are saying without the adequate infrastructure, it can also be a big challenge to deliver the social needs, the social nets that people need. Opportunities for scaling up. However, there are opportunities for scaling up these programs, because especially when we look at the African Continental Free Trade Area, which promote regional economic integration by aligning social safety nets with broader economic goals, countries can enhance their effectiveness. Addressing challenges is crucial to maximizing the impact of social safety nets. Our last point, the one that we are going to look at, is the future direction. What needs to be done in the future? So let's make some recommendations for the improvement. So the first one that we can recommend is to enhance the effectiveness of social safety nets. We should leverage technology for better delivery, and monitoring digital platform can streamline cash transfer and ensure timely assistance. And the second one can be partnerships. Fostering partnership is also important, because governments can work closely with some organizations like NGOs to private sectors, and to help them collaborate and improve the lives of those who are in need, especially women and marginalized communities. So NGOs and government can work together. They can work closely and improve their ability to work closely and help those who are in need. And lastly, as a recommendation, we can focus on sustainability. Why should we focus on sustainability? We should focus on it because we can it can help integrating social safety net into broader development strategies, and ensuring they contribute to a long-term economic resilience and poverty alleviation. So these future directions will help and to build a more robust framework for social safety net in Africa.
maa ngi tudd Kumba Faye yàlla may na ma juróom-ñaari bant sama jëkkër depuis daaw ba léegi da doon liggéey maçon la doon liggéey waaye daaw ba léegi tension da koo daane mënatul dara bu jéemee liggéey sax bu ñëwee tension bi da koy daane ba ñu yóbbu ko hôpital.
Social safety nets are programs which help the poorest meet their basic needs so they can better cope with risks and shocks such as a sudden drought or unexpected illness. Kumba and her family benefit from a national social safety net system in Senegal, which provides quarterly cash transfers to poor and vulnerable households across the country. The program, implemented by the government, encourages families to keep their children in school, follow a regular immunization schedule, and register all newborn children.
xaalis bi may jot ci bourse familiale li ma ci gën a di jëfandikoo mooy sama jàng xale yi parce que ci lañ war a jënd saak ci lañ war a jënd kay seen bic warul manqué waruñu xëy jàngi te ndekki wuñu waruñoo wàcc tamit te gisuñu lu ñu lekk bourse familiale bi may fayeeku coppeeku bi mu soppeeku ci man xam naa ko ndax njëriñ la ci man ndax bu ma ko daaw doon fayeeku sama jàng doom dina tardé sama njàng doom moom laa yaakaar bourse bi sama njàng doom yëpp bourse bee leen yor.
There is this amazing global trend right now that is happening in country after country after country. It's almost a revolution that governments are investing directly in people, especially the poor and vulnerable, through cash transfers or broader forms of social safety nets. And what has spurred this revolution has been the growing evidence that these programs work.
Now, safety nets are very important in Africa. Why? Because it's a poor continent with inequalities and prone to external shocks. So all these ingredients make the need for having social protection programs which help the poorest in the country when there is a shock, when there are adverse situations in the country, or those who are structurally poor to be able to get the support to lift them out of poverty, extreme poverty.
This revolution of social safety nets is happening all across sub-Saharan Africa, where the number of countries that are investing directly in poor people has doubled over just the last 3 years. The reason is that safety nets are a smart investment, which costs less than 2% of GDP while effectively contributing to reducing inequalities and fostering income-generating activities.
Kwa majina naitwa Rose Mafla, niko na miaka 29, niko na watoto wawili walemavu, mmoja ni Ian Saka, miaka 10, Joram Mafla, miaka 4.
Rose lives with her 2 children in Mathare, an informal settlement in Kenya's capital city, Nairobi. Rose's eldest son, Ian, is the beneficiary of a bi-monthly cash transfer for persons with severe disabilities, one of 4 cash transfer programs currently implemented by the government of Kenya.
Kwa tunapewa hiyo pesa, nikikuja nayo mtoto mmoja huyu huwa nampelekea shule nyingine ikapo kwa kumsaidia. Kama Ian alikuwa amechikunja mikono, kwa saa hii ukimweleza kama mambo ya shule anaelewa, anaenda nini kwa shule, anaenda kusoma, unajua kukala. Singine kwa tunapaki kidogo na weka stock ya chapo.
So why is it that these amazing things happen when you give small, regular and predictable payments to the poor? It's because the poor live day to day. They live with very, very large uncertainties. That predictability of payments makes it so that the poor feel that they can assure themselves that they can indeed invest in their children, invest in livestock, invest in riskier but more productive forms of farming, because they know that if it doesn't pan out, they don't have to sell their livestock, put their children out of school, deny themselves or their family's health care. That is the key ingredient of the magic that these small payments are wreaking across the continent of Africa and indeed across the world.
As a conclusion, first of all, we can recap the key points that we discussed in this video. And today we explored the current state of poverty in Africa. What is going on? What is happening in Africa? Why is it always Africa? Why is Africa struggling to make movement toward development? Why is Africa struggling when it comes to climate change? Why is Africa struggling when it comes to development? That's what we discussed in this video, and we looked at the importance of social safety nets. Why are they important? Why are they there in Africa? What is their importance in Africa? We recapped everything about this, and then we went through some case studies that helped us to better understand what are they doing in Africa, what is their importance. And we also went through some challenges. We looked at some challenges and opportunities that are there in Africa when implementing these programs. What challenges are they facing? What are the opportunities that are there when implementing these programs? And then for final thoughts, we can also say that social safety nets are vital tools. Why are they vital tools? Because they help. They make progress toward improvement. They help in Africa because Africa are struggling. In Africa, more than 464 million people are living in extreme poverty. That's why these programs, they are important. They are there to ensure that people, marginalized people, especially women, because most of the time, as you said earlier, women are there. They are the ones struggling. They are there struggling, and women and children, because they have even challenges to get access to the basics. The basics. When you're talking about basics, we can say water, food, electricity, and these people, they are struggling to get access to the basics needs. That's why these programs, they are there. They're important. They improve lives across the continent, and I encourage you all to help with for further consider, and how can we collectively work for a more resilient and equitable in Africa. So we encourage you all to not take this as a joke, because people are really suffering in Africa. Africa is struggling. People are struggling. They are living in extreme poverty. And another example, we can look at what is happening right now in the eastern part of the DRC. People are struggling. People are living in extreme poverty. More than 6 million people have been displaced from Congo because of the war and what is going on there. And when we look at this program, they can also be there to help those people, because they are facing challenges. They are in need. They need help. So you and I, we shouldn't keep quiet. We should work closely with the government, with organizations, NGOs, to help and ensure that those people, they get access to the basic needs that you and I, we need, and they also need the same thing. So I encourage you all to not keep quiet when it comes to this matter, because these programs, they are there to help people. They are there to help communities and empower women who are facing violations in their houses, whatever they are going through. So we encourage you all to not sleep and help to those people. Thank you for watching this video.